You only need a person's birthday, and you can see how they feel, how they think, and how they love. And no, this is not a trick, but ancient knowledge. Today I will show you how, with just one single number, you can understand the deepest layers of a person, their strengths, their fears, their way of communicating, even how they behave in relationships and why. You will be surprised how much you can discover about the people in your life. Without a horoscope, without a birth time, without any tool. Because all you need is the day someone was born. A birthday is never a coincidence. Not yours, not mine, and not your partner's, your parents, or your friends. The soul chooses this day with full awareness, because it carries a certain frequency, a certain task, a certain challenge. And here is the amazing part. When you know this number, just this one, you can instantly understand why some people long for closeness, while others need distance. Why one person is always achieving and another keeps withdrawing. The method is simple, but not superficial. It connects ancient wisdom with practical sensitivity. And if you stay with me, you will not only understand each number from 1 to 9, you will also discover the master numbers which carry a very special energy. Numbers that you do not simply calculate. You will experience their energy. So stay with me until the end, because I will show you how to recognize people who come into this world with a higher soul mission, and how to read the signs in their birthday. And now let us begin. All you need is the day of birth. For example, the 24th, the 13th, the 7th, or the 1st. We only look at the day, not at the month, not at the year. And if the number is 2 digits, like 24, then you simply add the 2 digits together. 2 plus 4 equals 6. And with that you have the number that shows you how this person feels, thinks, loves, and acts. You get a number between 1 and 9. And each of these numbers is connected to a planetary energy, which means it carries its own vibration, a certain temperament, a soul theme. This planetary energy works in the background. It colors the way a person thinks, feels, and acts, even if they are not aware of it. And that is exactly why this one number can tell you so much, even about people who do not truly know themselves yet. Let's start with the birth number 1. This includes the number 10, the number 19, and the number 28. The planet that is connected to number 1 is planet Sun. When someone is born on the 1st of a month, the Sun stands at the center of their personality. These people carry a natural leadership quality within them, not because they try to dominate, but because their energy invites others to orient themselves around them. It is the radiance of the Sun that lives inside them. They want to make an impact, to build something, to leave something meaningful behind. And they can only truly blossom when they stand in their own power, independent, free, and self-responsible. People with the birth number 1 often feel from an early age that they are not here to simply blend in, but to follow their own path. They do not like being told what to do, because deep inside they feel a strong inner compass guiding them. This inner will for self-determination can make them pioneers in the best sense, people who boldly move forward, show new paths, and inspire others. At the same time, they can react very sensitively when they feel controlled, overlooked, or underestimated, because the one carries a sense of pride, sometimes even pride in its solitude. What is often overlooked with the number 1, these people appear strong, but deep down they often long for real recognition. Not superficial praise, but something meaningful and heartfelt. If they feel they are only loved when they perform, when they lead, when they are strong, a deep inner pressure can build up, one that may burn them out. The energy of the sun can bring warmth, but it can also burn. And so it becomes essential for people with this number, whether their strength comes from healthy self-worth or from the need to constantly prove themselves. If someone is born on the 10th, this solar energy becomes even clearer and more direct. The 0 amplifies the light, but it also brings a certain loneliness. People born on the 10th often feel responsible for many things. They tend to carry burdens alone because they feel that no one else could do it in the same quality. They are natural doers, but they often forget to ask for help. Their soul lesson lies in connecting leadership with trust. With the number 19, a very different dynamic appears. Here the Sun 1 meets Mars number 9, which means it is not just about radiance, but about assertion, drive, and action. People with this number often carry a very strong inner drive. They are ambitious, determined, sometimes impatient. They can inspire others, but they can also feel overwhelmed. In relationships, they are often the dominant partner and they have difficulty letting go. For example, if you know someone born on the 19th, they may rarely tell you how much they need you, but the moment you restrict their independence, you will feel a wall go up. It is about control and at the same time about deep vulnerability that is rarely shown. The number 28 may at first appear like a classic Sun number, since 2 plus 8 equals 10, which reduces to 1. But it carries a very unique inner tension. The number 2 stands for the moon, for sensitivity, intuition, emotional needs, while the number 8 carries the strict, demanding energy of Saturn. This combination creates people who are both sensitive and relationship-oriented, but who also hold high expectations toward themselves and others. The 28 seeks leadership, but not in a traditional sense. It wants recognition, wants to build something, wants control over its life. And yet, a part of it often remains uncertain, hesitant, torn between closeness and self-assertion. People born on the 28th can appear very strong on the outside, but on the inside they often struggle with the feeling of not being enough, especially in relationships. They tend to give too much or become emotionally dependent until they learn to stand upright within themselves. Their challenge is not to become hard, but to find a unique form of authority, gentle yet clear, by bringing together their sensitivity and their inner strength. In all expressions of the number 1, the relationship with their father plays a significant role. He may have been very present, sometimes even too dominant, or emotionally or physically absent. This often creates a deep theme around self-worth and the question, am I enough, even without performance? And this is exactly where the deeper soul task of the number 1 lies, not simply to lead, but to stay true to oneself without constantly needing to justify who you are. The true power of the 1 lies in silent presence, in a natural radiance that does not need to be loud. Birth number 2, including 20 and 29. The planet that is connected is the moon. When someone is born on the 2nd of a month, the power of the moon lives within them, an energy that is not loud but deep. These people can feel what others are feeling, often before the others even know it themselves. Their strength is not dominance but empathy. They are often the quiet observers, the listeners, the mediators, not because they make themselves small, but because they intuitively know that true connection happens when we allow space. The number 2 longs for harmony. The number 2 suffers when tension remains unspoken, and it needs closeness, but not possession. People with this birth number are usually very sensitive. They pick up on changes in mood, in energy, in body language. They tend to withdraw quickly when something does not feel right. Their withdrawal is not disinterest, it is self-protection, because they take in more than they want to, and often more than they can handle. Their greatest gift is their emotional intelligence, but that is also their greatest challenge. They often put themselves last. They do things for others, say yes when they feel no, and in the process they sometimes lose touch with their own truth. An example: if you work with someone who has the number 2, you will notice that they are often one step ahead, not in thought, but in feeling. They sense what you need. They want to make things right for you. They feel your insecurity. But if you do not value this gift, they will withdraw, and you may not even understand why. Their world is more subtle, quieter, more delicate, and that is exactly what makes it so powerful. With the number 20, another aspect comes into play, the 0. The 0 amplifies the moon's energy, making it even more sensitive, even more receptive. People born on the 20s often seem not entirely of this world. They are deeply connected to inner images, dreams, and soul-level processes. that they cannot always put into words. These individuals need a safe environment, emotional stability, and loving surroundings. Their gift is devotion, but they need a lot of protection, because otherwise they can drown in other people's emotions. And then there is the number 29, a number that holds many layers. 2 plus 9 equals 11, a master number. And what this master number means, I will explore later. But for now, it's important to understand the number 2 is connected with the moon and the number 9 with Mars. These are two forces that could not be more different in their core vibration. And this often creates inner conflict. On one hand, the longing for harmony, for love and emotional security. On the other hand, the need to assert oneself, to achieve something, to prove something. The number 29 carries the potential for transformation through pain. Many people with this number experience early wounds, emotional boundary violations, or the deep feeling of being too much for others because of their sensitivity. And it is exactly from this that their light later emerges. The ability to walk through dark valleys. People with the number 29 often have a deep relationship theme. They seek the one true connection, but find themselves again and again in dynamics where they feel hurt, misunderstood, or unseen. Not rarely do they tend toward emotional eating, self-blame, or guilt, especially when they have suppressed their own needs for too long. And that is why their greatest task is not to abandon themselves anymore. When a person with the number 29 begins to become truly loyal to themselves, a new level of inner freedom begins to unfold. In all expressions of the number 2, it is about connection, intuition, and emotional sensitivity. But this is not an easy number. It demands presence and also appreciation for yourself. If you have a number 2 person in your life, be aware. They often see you more deeply than you may be comfortable with. And they will never fully open up if they sense that you interpret their sensitivity as weakness. Birthday number 3, including number 12, 21, and 30. And the planet is Jupiter. When someone is born on the 3rd of a month, they naturally carry a very special energy, the energy of an inner teacher, full of curiosity and warmth of heart. The number 3 is ruled by Jupiter, the largest planet in the Vedic system, and that is exactly how their presence often feels. Open, radiant. These people have a natural drive to grow. They want to understand, to explore, to discover, but not just with the mind, but with their whole being. And they love to share what they learn. People born on the 3rd are almost always experienced as someone who can speak well, explain clearly, and inspire others. Communication is their stage, whether in conversations, teachings, or writing. People with this birth number, their energy is light, playful, curious, and they need several options. Routine and restriction makes them restless. They are mentally flexible, love to jump from one topic to the next, and are deeply interested in people, cultures, travel, languages. They feel that life is calling them, and they want to follow that call. At times they may appear impatient or scattered, but it is not a lack of depth. It is simply the sense that there is still so much more to experience. If you are close to a number 3 person, you will notice quickly they need freedom. They want to express themselves in their words, in their movement, in their ideas. If you try to control or restrict them, they will pull away, not out of defiance, but because their inner sense of expansion becomes blocked. Especially in relationships, it is important not to respond with jealousy or control. The number 3 stays when it can choose to stay, not when it is forced. The number 12 brings an interesting combination. Here the sun and the moon comes together, and also Jupiter. This means people with this number are often very family orientated, because you have the father, the mother, and the child. They carry a strong sense of loyalty and a need to take responsibility. And Jupiter is connected to children, the moon to the mother. So this speaks about a deep inner desire for self-realization. They are often the ones who manage everything, friendly yet firm. The 12 gives the number 3 more grounding, more duty, but sometimes also the feeling of being torn between freedom and responsibility. Then we have the number 21. This brings the moon together with the sun, the feminine and the masculine principle, but in a different energy dynamic. And this adds up also to 3. So people born on the 21st, they are strongly connected to family, the need of emotional security, but also independence and self-expression. They often have a deep understanding of human nature. They feel a lot, they think a lot, and want to understand life. They are usually well liked because they are warm-hearted and wise at the same time. But they can also be quite moody if they feel their depth is not being seen. The number 30 is also a special expression of the 3, because the 0 does not just emphasize the energy of Jupiter, it also opens it. Those born on the 30th carry a particularly strong presence of openness, optimism, and inner growth. These individuals often have a natural talent for words, for inspiring others, and also for teaching, even if they do not do this as a profession. The 30 brings a big heart, a wide vision, and a strong connection to inner truth. But the 0 can also intensify a feeling of inner emptiness or disorientation. Many people with the number 30 seem cheerful and full of energy, but inside they sometimes feel lost or disconnected, especially when there is no outer sense of meaning. The 30 needs inspiration. It lives through the feeling of being part of something bigger. Often there is a strong idealism paired with disappointment in reality. Their task is to hold on to their vision without losing their grounding, and at the same time to stay true to their inner compass. When the 30 trusts itself, it can become an endless source of wisdom and joy for others. What all number 3 expressions have in common is the deep wish to share something meaningful, whether as a teacher, a counselor, an artist, a writer, or a mentor. They want to say something that moves others, and they also want to be moved through real connection, through travel, through inspiration. If you have a number 3 person in your life, open the space for conversation. Ask for their opinion, share ideas, allow discussion, and above all, do not try to put them in a box, because they are already one thought ahead. Birth number 4, and this includes number 13 and number 31. The planet is Rahu, the upper lunar node. When someone is born on the 4th of a month, you often meet a personality that appears grounded, reliable, and structured at first glance. But beneath the surface, a completely different force is at work. The number 4 is connected to Rahu, the north lunar node, which is not a planet in Vedic astrology, but a karmic point. And this is exactly what you can feel in these people. They appear controlled, organized, sometimes even reserved, but inside they are full of questions, inner movement, and unconscious longing. The number 4 stands for structure, security, clarity, but it always is something seeking, something beyond what is visible. People with this number often feel that they are different, not in an eccentric way, but in the sense that they struggle to fully fit into existing systems. They are not necessarily rebels, but they can only follow rules when they understand the meaning behind them. They need clear goals, clear processes, and clear answers. And at the same time, they are driven by something they often cannot name, an inner urge to build, something meaningful, to create, to leave a legacy. This often shows up as a strong sense of responsibility, but also as deep inner pressure to perform. In relationships, number 4 people often appear emotionally distant. They do not show feelings openly. They take time to open up, and they can seem emotionally unavailable. But this is not coldness, it is protection. Their inner world is often very sensitive. They want to do everything right, avoid risk, provide stability, while quietly longing to be held themselves. Yet they would rarely admit it. If you have a number 4 person in your life, you will notice they keep going no matter what. No matter how much stress, how much responsibilities, or how much uncertainty. But this can become a trap. Many 4s take on too much, say yes too often, and keep functioning until they burn out. Their soul lesson lies in letting go of control and learning to trust that not everything has to be perfect. The number 13 is one of the most intense expressions of this energy. The number 1 stands for the Sun, the 3 for Jupiter, and together with Rahu's Fourth, this creates a powerful combination focused on achievement, growth, and self-realization. People with this number often carry a compulsive drive to become something, to succeed, to prove themselves. They are ambitious, goal-oriented, hard-working, but they easily get caught in the pressure of never feeling good enough. The number 13 also brings karmic themes: guilt, duty, sacrifice, often paired with the feeling that others rely on them, but no one is truly there for them. The number 31 carries a slightly lighter energy. Here the 3, Jupiter, comes first than the Sun, giving this number a more idealistic and creative touch. These individuals often have big visions. They love to plan, organize, and design. Yet Rahu still works quietly in the background. The questions of recognition, identity, and who am I really are always present. People with this number often try to find their place in the world through achievement. They want to feel needed, want to be part of a system that makes sense. But if they cannot find that sense of meaning, they can feel deeply isolated, even if they appear outwardly successful. What all 4 expressions have in common is a deep need for stability, paired with an inner chaos that rarely show. Rahu brings questions, it brings detours, it brings tests, but it also brings the potential to create something truly significant. People with the number 4 have the ability to build bridges between worlds, between systems, between people. They are the architects of the invisible, as long as they learn not to lose themselves within their own structures. Birth date number 5, including 14 and 23. The planet is Mercury. The number 5 is one of the most dynamic, lively, and at the same time most contradictory numbers in the Vedic system. It is ruled by Mercury, the planet of communication, language, nerves, and flexibility. And this is exactly what people born with this number carry within them, a strong inner drive for movement and change. Those born on the 5th rarely follow a straight linear path. These souls have chosen to experience life from different angles, which is why they need change, inspiration, and freedom. Stillness or stagnation feels like an inner death to them. Number 5 people are often very open, curious, mentally quick. They love conversations, ideas, and new experiences. One moment they are fully immersed in a topic, and the next they have already moved on to something else. This can be confusing for those around them, because they are not easily grasped. But that is exactly their nature. They do not want to hold on to things. They want to experience them. They are translators between worlds, often also between generations, cultures, or perspectives. They can put into words what others cannot, or sense what others have not yet fully felt. And at the same time they often carry a deep inner restlessness. Their energy is like wind, always moving, difficult to contain. They need freedom, not as an idea, but as their main condition of life. If you try to control a number 5, hold them down or push them into routine, you will lose them. Their loyalty does not show in traditional commitments, but in their mental presence. They are with you as long as they feel alive, connected from within, but outwardly hard to pin down. The number 14 brings a particularly intense mix, the Sun and Rahu, which together reduce to 5. Here the power of self, number 1, meets the desire for control and achievement, 4. And the whole structure is held together by Mercury's flexibility. This often results in inner tension. Outwardly, these people appear confident, independent, and driven, but internally they are often torn. They find it hard to switch off, struggle with racing thoughts, and frequently try to gain control through performance. In relationships, the number 14 is often afraid of commitment, not because they are incapable of love, but because they fear losing themselves. The number 23, by contrast, is softer. Here the Moon and Jupiter come together, two gentle, emotionally wise energies. People with this number have a strong sense for others. They can listen, understand, and give meaningful guidance. The number 23 is often found in social, counseling, or creative fields, because it brings together emotional depth with mental clarity. But even here, Mercury is working in the background. Their minds are fast, their nervous systems sensitive, and outside stimuli often come in unfiltered. These people absolutely need moments of retreat, nature, and grounding. Otherwise, they can easily lose themselves in the external world. What all number 5 expressions have in common is a deep desire for real experience. They are not here to stay stuck in old patterns, but to explore, to move, to learn. They are capable of making extraordinary connections, developing ideas that others do not see, and offering insights that can move people deeply. But they need others to understand that their energy is not constant. They need periods of silence, of withdrawal, of realignment. If you have a number 5 person in your life, do not try to hold them down. Instead, hold space for their searching, their thinking, their experimenting. And they will return again and again in their own unique way. Birthday number 6, including number 15 and 24. And the planet is Venus. When someone is born on the 6th of a month, you are meeting a soul that deeply longs for beauty, harmony, and connection. The number 6 is ruled by Venus, and you can feel it immediately. These people often come across as warm, attractive, aesthetically attuned, not necessarily in the sense of conventional beauty, but in their presence. There is something soft about them, something reconciling, something that simply feels good. Their energy is not loud, but it is very present. It often has a calming effect on others, like an inner space where you can relax and let go. People with this number have a strong need for closeness, but also for balance. They seek harmony, not only in relationships, but also in their surroundings. Many of them have a refined sense for form, color, music, and scent. They need beauty to feel at ease, not in a superficial way, but because their inner system is tuned to resonance. If something feels off, they notice it immediately, in a room, in a conversation, or in a relationship. And that sensitivity can make them very vulnerable. In relationships, they are often very giving. They love to care for others, to contribute, to make the space feel warm and welcoming. They are the kind of partners who think along, feel along, and co-create. But they also expect a certain level of mutuality. What they cannot tolerate well is coldness, withdrawal, or emotional distance. When that happens, they start to pull back or question themselves. Many Sikhs tend to see others' needs over their own, and in doing so, many lose themselves. Their life lesson is to realize that true harmony does not come from adapting, but from being authentic. The number 15 brings together the Sun, 1, and Mercury, 5, two expressive mental energies. When combined with the 6, create a mix of intelligence, charm, and leadership quality. People with this number often have a strong personal presence. They come across as confident, eloquent, and inspiring, and they have a keen sense of how they affect others. They are often found in social or public roles. They attract people and are good motivators. But on the inside, they are often still searching for real emotional closeness, because between self-presentation and genuine feeling lies a subtle line that they sometimes do not even notice. Their challenge is to show themselves honestly, without needing to play a role. The number 24 is deeper. 24 is more emotional. Here we have the Moon 2 and Rahu 4 coming together. And this means emotional caregiving, paired with a strong need for structure and control. People with this number often have a complex relationship with closeness. They give a lot. They want to do everything right. They invest deeply. But they also have high expectations of others. They can be extremely generous, sometimes even self-sacrificing. But if they feel exploited or unseen, they may withdraw suddenly or become overly controlling. Food often plays a symbolic role in their lives, as a substitute for closeness, abundance, and comfort. These people need clarity in relationships, as well as emotional safety. Their Venus energy is not so much playful or light, it is more deep, committed, and at times very vulnerable. What all number 6 expressions have in common is a deep longing for connection, not just on the surface, but on the soul level. They are seeking the we without losing themselves in the process. If you have a number 6 person in your life, know that they feel deeply, even if they do not always show it. Their love is often quiet, but steady, and their gift is the ability to make others feel at home, as long as they do not lose themselves along the way. Birth number 7, including number 16 and 25, and the planet is Ketu. The number 7 is one of the most spiritual and at the same time one of the most difficult to truly understand in the entire system. It is associated with Ketu, the South lunar node, which in Vedic astrology is not a planet, but a karmic point connected to detachment, withdrawal, past lives, and deep inner wisdom. And this is exactly what shapes people born on the 7th. They often appear distant, independent, sometimes even unreachable. Yet their presence carries something ancient, something knowing, something that cannot be explained. People with this birth number often feel early in life that they are somehow different. They ask questions others do not ask. They sense when something is wrong, even if no one else sees it. They observe and often retreat, because the world feels too loud, too rough, too superficial. They do not easily trust neither themselves nor others. They need time to form connections. And when they do, those connections are usually deep, deeper than they may even want to admit. Ketu brings a kind of spiritual clarity, but also the feeling of not being fully here. People with the number 7 often struggle to fully engage with the material world. They sense that there is more, but they cannot always name what that is. They retreat into thought, lose themselves in analysis, in mental spirals, in inner conversations. And at the same time, they have a powerful gift. They recognize patterns, see through masks, and feel the truth beneath the surface. But this also makes it hard for them to simply enjoy life. They see too much, feel too much, and often keep the world and even themselves at a distance. If you are in relationship, personal or professional, with someone who has this number, you will notice closeness does not come through words, but through trust. And trust is delicate for a 7. They observe, they test, they reveal nothing unless they are sure they are being held, on a level deeper than language. The number 16 brings a particularly challenging combination, the Sun and Venus. This mix of ego and relationship, of self and other, meets the deep withdrawal energy of the 7. People with this number often face intense relationship topics, with dominant partners, with deep loss, or with the painful feeling of disappearing or not being seen. The 16 soul longs for merging, for sensuality, for connection, but again and again finds itself pulling away, because the experiences become too intense, too painful. The lesson here is, you cannot lose yourself if you truly stay with yourself. The number 25 is a different energy. Here we have the Moon, 2, and Mercury together. These people are highly sensitive, mentally quick, analytical, and deeply reflective. Their minds are constantly active, often to the point of exhaustion. They sense emotional undercurrents, but at the same time try to control everything mentally. The 25 is often deeply intuitive, but also highly critical, both toward themselves and others. They find it hard to switch off their thoughts, and yet within them lies a profound potential for insight, for soul work, for healing. But they must learn not to understand everything, but to trust even when they cannot explain. All number 7 expressions carry a deep longing for truth, not the obvious truth, but the deeper one that lies beneath the surface. They are seekers, whether they use the word spiritual or not. They want to know who they really are, why they are here, and what lies behind the veil. And they are most at peace when they stop fighting themselves and start seeing their uniqueness as a gift. If you have a number 7 person in your life, do not expect loud expressions of closeness. But if they truly trust you, they will lead you into a depth you will not experience with anyone else. It takes patience, but it is worth it. Birthday number 8, including number 17 and 26, and the planet is Saturn. The number 8 is a karmic number, not because it punishes, but because it brings awareness of cause and effect, of responsibility, and of one's own inner structures. People born on the 8 often carry a special depth from the very beginning. They seem more serious, more mature, and more grounded than others, as if they sensed early on that life is not just a playground. They do not question things superficially. They look deeper. They do not enter relationships or make decisions lightly. They take their time, observe, and really think about everything carefully. The number 8 is ruled by Saturn, the planet of structure, testing, and inner growth. People with this energy feel early in life that they must rely on themselves. They often do not expect much from others, which leads them to take on a lot of responsibility, sometimes too much. They appear reliable, but inside they often feel alone, not because there is no one there, but because they have learned to control their emotions, to be strong, to expect little. Many people with the number 8 had a difficult childhood, or at least one in which they had to grow up too soon. They often have unresolved themes with authority. Either they had to take responsibility too early, or they were under strict control. This creates a deep longing for self-determination, but also a fear of being suppressed again. It is as if Saturn tells them, grow beyond yourself, but from within, not through outer support. In relationships, 8s may appear emotionally closed. They rarely show their feelings spontaneously, because they have learned that emotions are not always safe. But when they do open up, they are loyal, deeply connected, and willing to give a great deal. Their love is not playful. It is a quite strong and sustaining love. But they expect the same in return. And if they feel betrayed, used, or manipulated, they will withdraw, often without a word and without coming back. The number 17 brings together Sun and Ketu, a deeply contradictory combination between self-expression and detachment, between shining and letting go. People with this number often appear strong, even untouchable, but inside they carry great insecurity. They often feel they have to prove themselves because they never received the recognition they truly needed. The number 17 carries a certain melancholy, but also enormous inner maturity. When these individuals begin to truly trust themselves, they can become extraordinary teachers, mentors, or quiet sources of strength for others. The number 26 is strongly emotional. The Moon 2 and Venus 6 bring high sensitivity. But this softness often cannot fully express itself behind Saturn's structure. These people seem caring, family-oriented, and loving, but underneath lies the deep theme of possession, loss, and control. They want to hold on tightly to what matters most to them, because they fear losing it again. This often relates to financial security, family or emotional bonds, and the deep need to make something last forever. But the soul lesson of the 26 is letting go, learning to trust that real connection does not come through control, but through inner freedom. What all number 8 expressions have in common is the desire to make a real contribution, not for applause, but from an inner sense of purpose. They want to build something, leave something behind, make a difference. But they are often very hard on themselves, and they rarely forgive their own mistakes. Their true liberation begins when they realize it is okay to be soft. It is okay to make mistakes. It is okay to receive, even when you're not earning it. If you have a number 8 person in your life, approach them slowly. Give them time, give them space, give them real consistency. And they will give you a depth of love and loyalty you will not find with anyone else. Birthday number 9, including number 18 and 27, and the planet is Mars. The number 9 stands at the end of the number sequence, and yet it is both an ending and a new beginning. Those born on the 9th carry within them the energy of Mars, but also the principle of service, sacrifice, and inner maturity. These are not souls who came only to experience. They came to complete, to transform, and to teach. Their soul journey is often more intense than others. They feel more, fight more, lose more, but they also gain deeper insight, deeper love, and a strong connection to the spiritual world. As a planet of action, Mars gives these people courage, energy, and passion. They stand up for what matters to them. They are not passive. They sense injustice immediately, and they often react with intensity, emotionally, directly, and powerfully. But beneath this fire lies a deeply vulnerable heart. Many number 9 people were not truly seen or taken seriously in their early years, especially when they showed their strong emotional depth. This often creates an inner conflict. Should I show my strength, or allow myself to be vulnerable. The 9 wants to live for something greater. It cannot stay focused only on the self. It needs a mission, a vision, a purpose beyond the personal. Many 9s find their path in social work, spirituality, or healing. They can lead, they can inspire and uplift others, not from ego, but from experience, because they know what it really means to lose. They have touched the depths, and that is what makes them credible. But this inner fire can also become destructive, especially when suppressed. Then strength turns into anger, passion into rage, clarity into rejection. Many 9s must learn to channel their energy, not suppress it and not turn it against themselves. They are often too hard on themselves. The high inner demand to be perfect, to be there for everyone, to never disappoint, can lead quickly to emotional exhaustion. The number 18 combines the Sun and Saturn, a demanding mix of self-expression and restriction, of shining and holding back. These individuals often carry unresolved themes with their father or male authority figures. They long for recognition, but rarely receive it in a direct or open way. As a result, they often feel they must prove themselves, which leads to overwork, inattention, and eventually burnout. The sole lesson of the 18 is to learn you are enough without needing to earn it. You do not have to define yourself by success or approval. The number 27 brings together the Moon and Ketu. The number 27 brings together the Moon and Ketu. These individuals are deeply spiritual, highly sensitive, and often have a natural connection to the spiritual world. But they often feel ungrounded, either emotionally, because of a lack of early nurturing, or because they do not feel fully at home on earth. The number 27 carries the energy of an old soul, someone who has seen much, who no longer wants to fight, but who still does not know how to truly arrive. Their task is to learn to trust in life, in others, and in themselves, and to realize that they do not have to carry everything alone. What all number 9 expressions have in common is a deep inner intensity, paired with a desire to serve life. They are not here to play small or to conform. They are here to bring light, often through the very things they have suffered. They have suffered themselves. If you have a number 9 person in your life, know this. They are like a lighthouse, clear, strong, upright. But even they need someone who sees their light when it begins to flicker. And now a note on master numbers. Some numbers are not simply reduced. Certain numbers, such as 11 or 22, are known in numerology as master numbers. They carry a different frequency, one that reaches beyond the personal and into the collective. These numbers open a connection to the spiritual realm. They call for and support a higher level of consciousness. If you have one of these numbers in your birth date, for example, if you were born on the 11th or also the 29th, which reduces to 11, or the 22nd, then you carry a different kind of soul assignment. It is no longer just about discovering who you are and who somebody else is, if you check another person, but also allowing something greater to move through you. Master numbers are demanding. They do not reveal their full power immediately. You must grow into them. In early life, they often show up as insecurity, inner conflict, or overwhelm. But later, when the soul is ready, they unfold their true gift, the ability to build bridges between worlds, between people, between heaven and earth. That is why we now take a closer look to those special master numbers, 11 and 22, but also we look to 29, and I explained a lot about 29 before. So the master number 11, you can reduce it to the number 2, but it also has this higher level of 11, and this is depending on the level of consciousness you want to experience. And the planetary quality is the double sun, because you have 1-1. You have 2 sun. And this connects this functions like a mirror. A person who incarnates with the master number 11, either through a birthday on the 11th or a total sum, like the 29, comes with a particularly subtle inner soul mission, self-realization through reflection. These people often experience their life as if through 2 worlds. On the outside, they appear strong, but on the inside, they are often torn, hypersensitive, hard to grasp. The double one represents immense power, a strong will, a capacity to lead, to shine, to move forward. But here lies the challenge. These 2 solar forces can blind each other, especially if the ego has not been consciously integrated. The number 11 calls for shining, not from ego, but from alignment with your higher self. It is a form of spiritual leadership, not meant for the spotlight, but for the soul's deeper path. People with this number are often highly sensitive. They sense things before they happen. They intuitively know what is true, even if they cannot explain it. But this very sensitivity can lead to inner insecurity. They often doubt themselves, withdraw, struggle with anxiety, or feel misunderstood. The challenge is not to fall into the shadow of the number 2, to become overly sensitive and to make themselves small, and to take everything personally. The number 11 must learn to claim its space, not through volume, but through presence. In relationships, the 11 often go through intense mirror processes. The other person reflects, often unconsciously, what within them still needs healing. They experience powerful attraction, followed by equally strong withdrawal. Their partner becomes a catalyst for deep inner transformation. This can be confusing, exhausting, overwhelming, but it is part of their path. Because the 11 came here to recognize itself, and only then to offer guidance to others. If you have an 11 person in your life, know this. They may seem strong, but they need protection, space, and depth. They carry a connection to the spiritual world, even if they cannot always put it into words. And they will lead you to the truth, if you are ready to hear it. Master number 22 reduces to 4, but remains 22 when consciousness is ready. The planetary quality is the double moon energy. The number 22 is often called the number of the master builder, and this is no exaggeration. These souls have come to manifest something greater than themselves. It is not just about personal development. It is about creating new structures, new fields, and new realities on a collective level. This may happen in the field of healing, or maybe building communities. Maybe it is also a quiet, transformative service you offer to the world. The path of the 22 is not an easy one. It carries double moon energy, which means double sensitivity, double receptivity, and this is not easy. And this sensitivity meets the karmic testing energy of the 4, Rahu, which forces it into material reality. This creates a strong tension between spirituality and daily life, between emotion and structure, between vision and manifestation. Many 22s experience chaos, instability, or emotional overwhelm in early life, not because they are weak, but because their soul has come to transform large themes for themselves and for the greater field. People with the 22 often feel early on that they are not here just for themselves. They think in larger dimensions, even if they cannot fully put it into words. Their dreams extend beyond the personal. They sense they are meant to build something lasting. But they are tested through crises, through loss of control, through inner disintegration. And it is through these very tests that their strength grows. Not because they remain stable, but because they learn to create something new from within the chaos. In relationships, there is often a deep emotional need for closeness, for deep connection, for real merging. But the 22 can also lose itself in others, in projects, in expectations. Its greatest lesson is self-bonding, the ability to merge with the higher self, instead of dissolving into external demands. Only when they remain true to themselves can they fully become the master builders they were born to be. If you have a 22 person in your life, do not underestimate their depth. They may appear quiet, but inside something is moving. They are connected even if they do not yet know it themselves, and they will follow their path, not to be seen, but because they know they must, for life itself. Maybe, while listening, you suddenly began to see the people in your life differently. Maybe something became clearer. Their behavior, their reactions, their strengths, their wounds. That is the power of these numbers. They help you truly understand others. deeper, clearer, and with more compassion. Because when you begin to see what someone carries in their number, their longings, their challenges, and their hidden potential, you can walk beside them instead of judging them. You can allow closeness without losing yourself. You can set boundaries without shutting down. And you can understand why some connections heal while others send you back to yourself. And if you want to go deeper into this work, if you want to learn how to read an entire soul image through birthday, soul, and expression numbers, you are welcome to download my free PDF. The link is right below this video. Or join my masterclass, where I guide you step by step, not only to understand the numbers, to feel the energy, the difference in the energy of the numbers. This is really unique. And so, if you want to know more about those magic that lies beyond the numbers, check this out. And once you use that ability, the wisdom of numerology, you will never again read only at the surface. Thank you for being here and for remembering what truly matters, to see yourself, to discover your soul behind the mask. And never forget, share this video with your friends and family. And never forget, I love you.